Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be showing off an old classic belly drum Charizard. You almost never see this anymore, so people never see it coming. They see a Charizard on a Sun team and just assume that it's a special attacker. We can eat a citrus berry after we belly drum to get some health back, which will double our acrobatics to 110 base power before stab. We also get access to Flame Charge, which does a bunch in the sun at +6, and will also boost Charizard's speed, which can make us an absolute monster. So we're going to jump right into our first match here. And for my first match, my opponent leads off with their Latios, which is really scary right off the bat, as I lead with my Torkoal. I want to try to stir some stuff up. I want to get the sun up, and I also have Yawn on this to kind of like force stuff out. So I do just go right for the Yawn. But they are going to go for that first turn Terra, which is scaring me right now. And as they go for the Terra, it is going to be Terra Dragon, which is going to give this thing really crazy damage on a Draco Meteor. So as they do go for that Terra, they are going to connect on a Draco Meteor, and then Terra boosted, I am a physically defensive Torkoal, so I die before I can even get anything off. But the sun is up. Unfortunately, I do see now, right after that, that I don't have a secondary Sunsetter on this team, so I need to get some stuff going with Charizard right away. I need to start getting some stuff going because I only have so many turns to work with of this sun. So I go in on Charizard, and now I'm just hoping that a Draco Meteor won't kill me so I can get a free belly drum. And as they do go for a Draco Meteor, what actually misses? Oh my god. And it might even have killed me if this thing was Specs and I wouldn't have made it. But I do get the belly drum off. It drops me down to half, and that is going to get my attack all the way up to +6 as I eat my Citrus Berry. That'll give me just a little bit of health back. I still don't think I can take a Draco Meteor, but I do click Flame Charge here because I know it's not going to kill, but I need to be able to be faster than this thing to do some damage to it. So as I click the Flame Charge here, it turns out they're just going to switch, which is nice because they would have outsped me and probably killed me if they had stayed in and clicked Draco again. But they switch into Lycanroc, and it's going to be a resisted hit now, but in the sun at +6, it knocks this Lycanroc all the way down to its Focus Sash, which is so awesome to see. The only thing I'm scared of here is a potential Accelerock, and an Accelerock will kill me from this range, so I just go for the Terra Ground, or I check their team to see if I need the Terra on anything else, but I go for the Terra Ground, and I click Flame Charge again, just in case that Latios was Choice Scarfed, and not Choice Specs. I'll still be able to outspeed it at +2. So I go for my Terra Ground here. This is probably one of the ugliest Terras. It's just like an orb. And so I put the orb on, I'm all crystal now, and they do go for the Accelerock, and now it's resisted, so it barely does anything to me. And I can finish this off with another Flame Charge, and that's going to leave me sitting really good with the Charizard. Now I'm at +6 attack and +2 speed. I took out their Lycanroc, and now they get to switch into whatever they want, but, you know, good luck having an answer for this. As they go into Hoopa, I know this thing's not particularly defensive. I'm worried about maybe another Focus Sash or something, but I do just click Acrobatics here. It's going to be my highest damage. It's 110 before stab. And that'll just take it out. So it wasn't even... I don't know what that was supposed to do, but it's not looking like they have a lot of answers for me. They bring in Armor Rouge here, and I do decide to just go right for another Acrobatics here just to take it out, just in case... Well, I was worried about a Terra, but I forgot that they Terra'd their Latios the first turn, but... One is going to take it out. They're not double sash, so that's another Acrobatics, and I didn't even have to bring anybody else out for this. They killed my Torkoal on the first turn, and Charizard came in to avenge it, and that's what he's doing. So they go into their Latios, who surely cannot imagine to take a +6 Acrobatics. Yeah, they're usually more specially defensive anyways, but that's going to take that out. They're running low on options to throw with this Charizard. And I don't think it's going to make it. The sun is still out, so they go back into the Latios, who was so scared of me in the beginning that it switched out. But now I'm at +2 speed, so they won't be able to outspeed me even with the Scarf. And that's going to just take it out. And there goes the Latios, excuse me. They had Latios and Latios, and neither of them could handle Belly Zard. And the sun goes away, which means that it's been 8 turns since my Torkoal died. And as they go into their final Pokemon, the Archaludon, it might have been able to live a Flame Charge or an Acrobatics. They haven't seen that I have the Earthquake coverage yet, but +6 to stab Earthquake, you know, with the Terra is gonna be able to just blow this thing away. And that's a clean 6-0 for the Charizard. I don't think I've had a 6-0 on this channel before, but Charizard really made it happen with that belly drum and flame charge combo when you can boost attack and speed like that. And that's going to win us that first match, and we're going to jump right into our second match now. For my second match here, my opponent leads off with their Miraidon, as I lead off with my Sandy Shocks. I want to get my rocks up before anything. I know this thing probably won't just drop a Draco on the first turn, or I'm hoping it won't. But I know they won't be able to click any electric against me, so I can freely go for my Stealth Rocks here, basically. And as it shows, they are going to switch out, which is fine. I get my rocks up for free, basically. And they go into Suicune, which is interesting, because they set up electric terrain with their Miraidon, so now my Volt Switches are going to be boosted from that terrain. So that'll be nice. I get a boosted Volt Switch. I get my rocks up, which will be helpful for my sweepers in the back. And I do just Volt Switch out of here. And as I Volt Switch, it is going to do a good bit, because they set this electric terrain up for me. And I'm not touching it because I have my air balloon, but the Suicune is touching it, so I think it still gets boosted. And it does over half, so this could be a more specially defensive Suicune. And as I get to switch, I decide to go into my Torkoal here. I know that this can't really do anything to me in the sun. I know that Suicune isn't super offensive on either side, so I come in, I get my Sun Up, sorry, and I connect on a Hydro Pump, which does almost half to me, which is nice that I didn't do that much, but I decide to save my Torkoal because I don't want to lose my Sunsetter. And as I switch here, I decide to bring in my Slitherwing because I am Assault Vested, and if they click Hydro Pump again, it won't do very much to me at all. So I come in, and that Photosynthesis is going to give me an attack boost, which is nice. And they actually Surf this time. They don't Hydro Pump, they don't want to risk the miss. And in the sun with my Assault Vest, that does barely anything. So I do decide to First Impression here. I know it'll do a bunch of damage to pretty much anything. And they switch into the one thing that it won't really do a lot of damage against, which is going to be this bulky, fat Skeletor, just Alligator, comes in. It's not going to be Boots, though, so it takes some rocks, and yeah, that First Impression, even with the Sun Boost, which my attack, it's not going to do very much. It's double resisted. They heal a little with their leftovers, but I know I'm going to be faster here, so I can basically just get a U-turn off just to get a little more chip. So I know that making contact is going to do nothing but just a little more chip. Another double resisted bug hit, which is going to let me switch into whatever I want to answer this thing. And I figure it probably doesn't really have anything for Chi-Yu, and I can kind of threaten this out with a Dark Pulse. This is the new shiny Chi-Yu that they did. I love this thing's shiny. It's super sick. So they come in, my ability activates, which will weaken everything special defense. And as they Flamethrower in the sun, I am just super bulky naturally, special on the special side. So I take that pretty well. And now I imagine I scare this thing out with a Dark Pulse, because the Dark Pulse will kill from this range. The electricity goes away from the Miraidon, but I do decide to Flame Charge here, kind of just expecting a switch just to get me a speed boost on, like, if they switch in Greninja or something. So they are going to switch, they're going to hard switch, and I'm glad I put that Flame Charge. I like how the little eyes glow. And they do switch into the Greninja, and that is going to let me be faster than this thing with a Flame Charge, which in the sun even, does a little bit, but it's mostly just to get that speed boost. And I could stay in and kill this thing with a Terra Blast Fairy, but I don't want to bust out my Terra just yet this early, especially when I have just a great answer for this in my Assault Vest Slitherwing. Slitherwing's base special defense is super high, that's why I'm just slapping Assault Vest on this thing, and you run 4 attacking moves anyways. So I come in, I get the attack boost again, and they go for a Hydro Pump, which in the sun, with that Assault Vest is not really going to scratch me at all. And if they stay in, it didn't change type, so I am going to get a super effective hit. And that First Impression is going to just, that's going to knock it all the way out. It kept its Dark typing. That's a good fast threat out of the way. And Slitherwing is kind of, scaring everybody with these priority First Impressions in the sun. And they get a switch. They go into their Cresselia, which is going to be a super bulky Pokemon, but I know that I outspeed this, and I can get a huge, super effective proto attack U-turn off, and that's gonna almost kill it. I thought maybe it would, but it doesn't, so I do get a switch here, and as I can switch into whatever I want, I decided to go into Charizard against this. I imagine maybe they start kind of setting up or trying to set up, and I'll be able to get a Belly Drum off no matter what they do. So I come in, ready to go in the sun, and they actually go for a Psychic, which this thing isn't super specially offensive, but it still does a good chunk, and actually gets the special defense drop, so I probably shouldn't have stayed in here, but I do anyways, and go for a belly drum. They probably could have killed me with another one, but they do switch out, which is nice. That's going to give me a free belly drum here. And as they switch, they're going to bring in the Miraidon, which is one of the few things they have that's faster than me now with this, with no speed boosts yet. But they come in, they're going to set the Electro Terrain back up with their ability, and I do get my belly drum off here, which is nice. It's going to bring on a 23, maximize that attack. And we have the Citrus Berry, and that's going to bring us up just a little more. Probably not going to help a whole lot in this, because we're so low now anyways, but I imagine they probably clicked an Electro Drift here, or click an Electro Drift, so I do go for my Terra Ground to be immune. They are going to resist my Flame Charge, but I need the speed to be faster than... I think they had a Chen Pao in the back, which is really scaring me, so I go into this, and I'm going to put that Terra on, put this stupid orb back on my head, and they do go for an Electro Drift, which doesn't affect my Charizard now. And I am going to go for that Flame Charge. At +6, it still does a little bit. But now I have +1 speed and +6 attack, and you know what time it is. I'm just going to click Earthquake, and they're thinking here for a minute, I think, because they're not afraid, not sure how to handle this, you know, supercharged physical Charizard. So they switch into the Qian Pao, which is perfect. And they probably were Focus Sash, because they come in and they do take damage from the rocks, which was what I was most nervous about, was this Qian Pao. And they come in, I think an Ice Shard would have killed me, but they come in on my Earthquake after taking the rocks, so they're not going to be able to take one. And that's going to get rid of the Qian Pao. So that was probably their only answer to my belly Zard here, was that Qian Pao. And now they can go into whatever they want, but good luck. They don't have anything that's going to be able to outspeed me or take a hit. So they go into the Miraidon here, and if this thing is Scarfed, it might outspeed me. It definitely outspeeds me if it's Scarfed, but they come in, they activate that ability, and as I go for the Earthquake here, just to finish this thing off, start my win through the team, they are going to forfeit. They decide to honorably run, they're saving the lives of their Pokemon, but that's going to be the end of that one. Charizard really scared him out, and that's going to bring us right into our last match. My opponent leads off with Ceruledge here. As I do lead off with my Sandra Shocks, I want to prioritize getting my rocks up, but it looks like it is going to be good for this team, but I imagine that they probably switch here, as they do have a bad matchup, but they actually don't switch, so I thought I was going to be able to get some momentum. So as I switch with my Volt Switch, it does a little bit, and they don't switch, so I just go right into my Grafaiai here, just because I'm nervous that this thing is going to start setting up. I'm scared of, like, Swords Dance here, and I want to be able to Encore if it goes for that, but they actually charge up a Solar Blade. Maybe they were expecting me to go into my Torkoal, which would have let them fire this off in one turn, which would have been kind of a crazy prediction, but they are sitting here charging that up now, so I do just switch items with it. I am going to give it the Black Sludge, and they give me a nothing. So this was itemless, which maybe was to avoid, like, Poltergeist and stuff. I've seen that before, but they get the Solar Blade off of my Poison type, it doesn't do a lot, and they are going to take a little bit of damage from the Black Sludge. I probably should have kept it for myself, but I wanted to take this thing's boots away in case it was holding boots. I just check here to make sure that I'm really not holding an item, that I really didn't get an item, but I think to switch into whatever I want, I decide to just go into Torkoal here. I am max physical defense, so it's not going to be able to do a whole lot to me. As I come in, I get my Drought up, and they are just going to go for a Blitter Blade, which in the sun, it's boosted, but I am max defense, so it doesn't really scratch me, and it's resisted anyway, so it heals them back a little bit. And I can kind of do whatever I want here. And they are going to take a little more from the Black Sludge. As I do just go for a Yawn here, I kind of want to force this thing out, or maybe catch a Yawn on a switch, as they do actually switch. And they're going to bring in their Armor Rouge here, which is kind of like this Torkoal's biggest fear. And as I do get my Yawn off, I'm going to pressure this thing either to go out. They're not going to be able to set up or anything, so I don't want them to switch out, but I don't want to switch anything into an attack, so they do actually stay in. They have Balls of Steel. They're going to go for a Psyshock, which with a crit does a good bit. It hits your physical defense. As they go for a Clear Small, kind of expecting a setup if they switched, but they didn't, and they do just get to go to sleep. So now I'm like, well, this is, you know, I'm rubbing my feet, rubbing my little turtle feet together. Like, this is a great opportunity to get my Charizard in here and start setting up. But they actually switch out the Armor Rouge now that it's sleeping and bring in Gengar, which I'm still feeling like I'll be able to set up pretty well in front of this thing. They come in, and as I switch out my Torkoal, I bring in the old Zard, and the benefit of this thing is probably they're not expecting it to be a physical attacker, so they probably won't think it'll have anything to threaten this. And if this Gengar isn't max speed, I am, so I'll actually be able to outspeed. And I do outspeed here, so I am going to get that Belly Drum off first. It's going to get my attack up. It's going to give me the Citrus Berry, so it's basically like it only cost a quarter of my health instead of half. And the Gengar actually stays in. I was kind of expecting them to switch maybe, but they go for a Shadow Ball, which is going to do a good bit. That is going to bring me down. It's going to be a 2-hit. And now I can just go for a Flame Charge. It's going to be able to kill this thing from full. I'm just nervous that it's going to be Focus Sash, but it's not. We get the crit, it didn't matter. Gengar has, like, no physical defense. And now we have the speed boost, so now we're going to be faster than everything. We're a +6 attack, and we have a couple turns of Sun to work with from this Torkoal. So, as they can go into whatever they want, they're going to bring in Gallade, which, even if this thing is Scarfed, it might be Scarfed, that's probably why they brought it in, is because it's Choice Scarfed, but even if it's Scarfed, it's not going to be able to outspeed my Charizard, and a Flame Charge in the Sun is going to be able to do it, because I got that +1, and I'm base 100. I think the Gallade is only base 80 or something. So that's going to take it out. And I'm at +2 speed, so now I'm super fast. I have the Earthquake coverage for all their fire types and stuff, so they're going to bring in Scizor, and here's where it gets... They just saw me click Flame Charge twice in a row, so I know that they know that I have that. So I go for the Acrobatics here, basically expecting a Terra. I imagine that they're going to Terra into something that maybe resists a Flame Charge, but as they Terra, they are going to go for the Terra here, which, you know, I was kind of expecting. And it is going to be Terra fighting, so I'm kind of glad I clicked Acrobatics, because that is going to kill Scizor 1 billion times over at +6 with no item. And I wasn't quite expecting it to be Terra fighting. I knew it was going to be Terra something. I kind of imagined that they switched it in, kind of baiting me into a fire move, but yeah, the Terra fighting is going to be enough for the Acrobatics to really blow it away, even if it was max defense, which it probably was not. And the Sunlight goes away, but the damage is done. They go into Bisharp here, who actually probably could do a good bit, maybe even kill me with a Sucker Punch, so I am kind of expecting it, but I can't do anything but Flame Charge. And they decide to actually run. They decide to save the Bisharp's life and everything else. And that's why you don't underestimate Belly Drum Charizard. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.